markets are actually made up of incentivized players. Remember, in the big picture sense, think about them in terms of Mr. Market, right? It's just you trading with, think about general, like the market encompassing just everybody as one person, the general public. But at a micro sense, it's actually made up of informed, incentivized, individually motivated players, just like from your perspective. The difference between you and those players is they're massive, right?
Yeah.
And they can move markets.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about these players, we're talking nation states, central banks, huge corporation, like just massive balance sheets who can mount these sorts of attacks and do the bulk of the action, over the long term on your financial charts, right? So when you see this short attack, what they actually are trying to do is force that Liz Truss moment on the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Now, the U.S. is different, right? This is the U.S. dollar. We hold certain advantages. Talk about the first disadvantage. Just the system design itself forces the U.S. If the system wants to perpetuate itself, the U.S. has to go deeper and deeper into debt, right? From a public standpoint, and that's where you draw the line. The advantages we have, right? We talk about money printing, right? Technically, this is all debt. Like you're building up, you have to pay it back. These are IOUs. And to create more debt-based money, credit-based money, you have to sign up to pay for something, down the road. What this tariff policy is it basically shuts that door. We're now following a kind of a mercantilist approach where we're going to seal off the borders. There's still international access to the U.S. Consumption market. You can still come in as an importer. It's just not going to be on the same favorable terms that you were used to the last 70 years. That's closed off. And then from a financial sense, we do not intend to be shipping dollars overseas to the same degree we have been, or the world has gotten used to bail out not just our own credit bubble domestically, but also the offshore Eurodollar credit bubble that you hear it commonly talked about. And all of these, a lot of policy set you've been kind of following if you track the threads the last 5 to 10 years. SOFR is another example of this. We're not going to do the offshore, or we're not going to do the overnight repo markets settled in London, unsecured, off of a survey of overnight desks at 8 to 10 money center banks in the city of London. We're going to require it's going to be settled at the FRBNY, Federal Reserve Bank of New York. We're going to require U.S. Treasuries posted as collateral. And it's going to be centralized and not opaque any longer. But all of from a systemic standpoint, that's literally what's happening is we're closing off the kind of the dollar leakage on this system. The U.S. is saying this debt situation we're getting ourselves into with the exponential growth in the debt, that's done. We're not having that anymore, or may not be done. We may have to continue it, but we're saying we're not just going to let it happen. We're not just going to status quo, slow walk ourselves into a debt crisis, as the end of the road. So there's a lot of parties who don't like that. They mount a short attack, and now, if you're the U.S., you have to defend against that.